Have you ever thought about what would happen to your business if something were to happen to you? That's not a fun question, but it is an important one. And here's the thing, even if you don't have a plan, it doesn't mean the government doesn't have one for you. I want you to watch this video to find out what that plan is and what it could be if you choose to be intentional. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is Temi. I am a lawyer, author, and speaker who helps business leaders and high-achieving professionals protect their assets, amplify their influence, and secure their legacies. In this video, we're answering the hard questions about what happens to your business if you're no longer there. And most importantly, how do you create a plan to ensure your hard work doesn't go to waste? Stick around to the end, and I'll share a couple of resources that I think will help you protect your business and your legacy starting today. All right, here's the thing you need to understand. Most people fail to plan. And the two areas that are left most vulnerable are your operations and your ownership. What do I mean? Operations is all about how you function. And without a clear roadmap as to what should happen within your business, your employees, clients, and partners may not know what to do next. Your family or heirs might also be left scrambling to untangle finances, trying to figure out how to lead your team. They might end up really stressed, and ultimately, this could lead to potential business failure. Without a clear succession plan or exit strategy, the value of your business could diminish very, very quickly. Essentially, no systems means no scaling. No scaling means no sustainability. That's the operation side. Let's talk about ownership. Now, ownership is not just about like day-to-day function. This is about who owns it, right? Control and management. And there is a plan that the state has for you. And essentially, this plan could tie your business assets up into the court system. Now, one of the things my father used to tell me is he said, prevention is better than cure. And there are ways to prevent getting yourself tied up in the court system. I don't really understand why people always think that the best thing is to get sued or to sue. Like, if there's something that you can do to avoid going to court, listen, avoid it. It's more expensive. I mean, my attorney friends might be angry at me for saying this, but save yourself money. Work on the proactive side instead of the reactive side. It's going to be way more expensive if you find your business assets tied up in court. And this is assets like your real estate and your intellectual property, your trademarks, your copyrights. All of that is property. And if it's not dealt with appropriately, the court's going to deal with it. Now, if there's unclear ownership, right, and an unclear transition between ownership, you can end up dealing with disputes amongst your heirs or your partners. Your key clients and employees might lose complete trust in you and leave, right? Let's go even deeper. Let's talk about the different legal structures, right? Because there are specific things that happen within the different ways you organize your business. And it varies depending on what type of business you have. Now, most sole proprietorships have a default that the business has to end. Like in most states, that's the rule. If they don't use language about it ending, they'll say that the business should be dissolved, the sole proprietorship. Then that means your assets become personal property and are distributed according to the default state rules, right? And if there's no will, then the default state rules of what happens to your property without a will is what happens to your business property. Okay, so you don't want that to happen, especially again, if it's a business, they're business assets. You may have some particular things that you want to see. Maybe you wanted an employee to earn it. Maybe you spoke to one of your kids and you said this one kid should be in control of it. But if you didn't designate that in the proper channels, you're creating a mess. When it comes to corporations now, switching gears, corporations don't automatically end. So if you think that, oh, well, as soon as I pass away, my friends, the business that I have with these people, it's going to end. No, it's not, right? The estate becomes the default owner. And so your estate has to make decisions. Your estate being from a legal place, it's like the people and property. And so usually you have somebody to manage the estate, but that estate owns whatever your corporate stock is, your corporate shares. And your family members who control the estate or whoever you've designated or whoever the law has designated, they have to figure it out. This can be very, 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 how many varies? Very messy if they disagree and have different desires. This can force division. So let's say you wanted it to stay unified, but you have 3 kids and all 3 kids want something different. The court's going to have no choice but to dissolve your business and separate it so that it can function. This could hurt operations. Maybe you have employees who rely on your business. Perhaps you have clients who rely on what you do. All of this can be hurt. And essentially, in the middle of all this, you are still losing money. The very people you're supposed to protect, the very people who are fighting over this thing, lose money in the long run because the attorneys who are helping them sort out all of this stuff will be paid. And guess where that money's coming from? It's coming out of the estate, right? So you can lose money in litigation and court disputes. Now, the last one I want to talk about is your LLCs, right? Let's talk about that. And LLCs are kind of interesting because they can function as sole proprietorships if there's only one person who owns it, or they might function as partnerships if there's more than one person who owns it. Hey friend, here's a quick break to highlight a resource that will help you uncover how future-proof your business really is. My team and I have worked together to create the Wealth and Business Security Scorecard to help you discover where you might be vulnerable when it comes to long-term success, security, wealth, and longevity. In uncertain times, you need to prioritize figuring out ways to future-proof your business, and this scorecard was designed to help you do just that. After you finish it, you'll receive your very own custom score and specific strategies you can immediately implement to make your business more secure and future-proof. I'll link it below. You can get back to the video. Talk to you soon. But essentially, it's a kind of a similar rule. In most states, the rule is that if an LLC owner passes away, right, it should be dissolved. The members, without it, the LLC is dissolved, particularly for your single member LLCs. Now, if you have documentation and operating agreement, you may have something that gives an alternative. Also, you may have in some states where it says the executor of the estate makes the decision. But these are all, again, just default rules. Let's talk about what you can do to bypass the default rules and make sure what you actually want to happen happens. All right, so this is what you can do as a business leader today. First and foremost, let's talk about a business succession plan. Come up with a plan, a roadmap for leadership transition and operational continuity. This is not just your way to make sure your legacy and your business lasts after you pass away. It's a way to ensure that your wealth increases while you're alive. This ensures that your team knows exactly what to do and keeps the business running smoothly. Listen, the more integral you are to your business, the less value your business retains. If your business cannot function without you, your business is not sellable. All right, nobody's gonna want to buy it because it's gonna be very difficult for them to scale it without you. But if you have this succession plan in place, you have everything documented about your systems, your operations, how things are supposed to function. Other people can do it when you're not around. You are helping yourself if something were to happen and helping the ultimate value for the business. The next thing I want you to keep in mind if we're talking about things you can do today is make sure you have your legal documents, right? If you have an LLC, have an operating agreement. Make sure your operating agreement has buy-sell provisions. These are provisions about how things are transferring upon death or other life instances, right? Like divorce, disability, just different things, bankruptcy. All of that can be discussed in these legal documents, and they can ensure that when life lives, you have a plan. You could also do a standalone buy-sell agreement as well. A standalone buy-sell agreement is usually for more comprehensive businesses. You see these more so in corporations where you want to put some restrictions as to what happens if something were to happen to someone, right? Maybe you don't want the family members to try and own this. Maybe you know that you have one child who is not suited to run this business. No shame, no foul. You're not trying to shade them or anything like that. They're just not the right person. You need to make sure you have protections, provisions in place to limit that. Right? Maybe you don't want your spouse to take control of the business. You found it with some other people that you trust and you know that that's going to create a mess. If you don't want them involved, you need to make sure you have documentation with provisions that keep it from passing to the people you don't want it to pass to, right? On the flip side, you want to make sure that you have documentation also that doesn't limit your business from passing to who you want it to pass to. So for example, I've seen operating agreements and buy-sell agreements that might have provisions that say a certain asset cannot pass through a trust. Well, if your personal property is passing through trust, if that's what you've put in place, you have wills and you have trust, then that provision clashes with it. And guess what? You're not going to be able to have your actual wishes effectuated, right, coming to pass because your documents are not in agreement. So you need to make sure your legal documents are in order. And that brings us to wills and trusts. I kind of mentioned it, but wills and trusts, your personal documents have to be in place. They're going to outline your asset distribution and protect your business assets from legal disputes. Finally, you want to make sure you have some life insurance. Life insurance is so important because life insurance can ensure that if you have a business, let's say you have some provisions about how you want certain other people in your business to buy out elements, you're going to need cash flow. Life insurance can provide the cash flow to ensure that your business partners or your family can buy out, right? Your business partners can buy out your portion of the business and your family can have the money from that. Life insurance are important. You can do life insurance, key person insurance, but these provide funds to keep the business afloat without you. To conclude, right, you want to make sure that you have your operations in place by having a business succession plan and your legal documents in place. So your buy-sell agreements, your operating agreements, your wills and your trusts, your life insurance, all of those things. Without a plan, your business is super vulnerable to operational, financial, and legal risk. Your succession plans, legal structures, and insurance are essential tools for protection. Planning isn't just about your business. It's about the people who depend on it. So if you are ready to do that, I want you to make sure that first and foremost, you like, share, and subscribe to this channel because we're going to keep on giving you information to help you make sure that your legacy is intact. We want people to have iconic legacies, right? So make sure you are channeled into this channel, but also follow us at TOS Legal. Visit the website. There are resources, guides there. You'll find out information about upcoming workshops that also support you, and you can start building your plan today. I'll make sure all these links are in the description box. But to end this conversation, I want you to think about what steps you've taken to protect your business. Share them in the comments below. I really want to hear your stories. Remember, my name is Temi. I'm here to help business leaders and high-achieving professionals protect their assets, amplify their influence, and secure their legacies. Until next time, talk to you soon. Bye.